Street fiends trying to fly with no wings, all up in your faces, you can't escape this. Live your life in a 3-mile radius. Life for us, survive we must, in the dollar we trust. Sometimes life hurts like a natural birth, and growing up poor will make you feel worthless. What a mess, can you pass the test? The things that it brings, a bowl full of beans, some know what I mean. Babies having babies at the age of 15 with no rings and no things. Street fiends trying to fly with no wings, all up in your faces, you can't escape this. Live your life in a 3-mile radius. Life for us, survive we must, in the dollar we trust, for the women we lust. Giving me a face of disgust.
Living in a world that's so damn cold, it got me wondering which way to go. Is it about materials or the spiritual? I'm just trying to get control of my soul. Living in a world that's so damn cold, it got me wondering which way to go. Is it about materials or the spiritual? I'm just trying to get control of my soul. Existence within the system is survival. It's turning my thoughts suicidal, similar to Biggie's suicidal, but it's vital I stay alive so I can keep spitting what's written in my heart, uplifting with this art form of verbal expression, holding a lethal weapon in my possession's not a 9-hour Glock. It's a mind with a thought that'll shine in the dark. Yeah, I'm knowing it's hard to believe in God when everything's fucked up, everyone's drugged up, and you're thinking love sucks cause all the betrayal has turned your heart frail. Please don't fail to continue to sail across life's oceans. Learn to master your emotions, keep your hope in your heart, faith in your soul. It's the only way to go.
NAP's planetary alignment to represent a solar eclipse. From out the lips of the sky serpent resurrects ancestral silhouettes. Bare feet to feel the heat as they listen to the heartbeat of Tonantzin, dancing in a serpentine pattern like the ring around Saturn. They turn and return, illuminating the path back to the stars, synchronizing with Mars, re-establishing harmony with every galaxy as Mercury transforms and forms a linear image, creating the bridge from which the sky serpent shall travel. Up in the sky, it's not a bird or a plane, it's Quetzalcoatl to reclaim his name, looking spectacular as he passes to Jupiter, creating an incredible spectrum with the rays of the sun. Feel the hum of the drum as you witness a paradox. It's a spring equinox foretold by the sunspots, and Venus has returned to cleanness from all the negative energy. All humanity prepare for the cleansing and purification, last chance for salvation.
Living in a world that's so damn cold, it got me wondering which way to go. Is it about materials or the spiritual?
Hi, I'm Kalina.
These goddamn ads.
Today I'm using Upwork to hire a WordPress developer to rebuild my e-com website. Upwork has
Enter a place where there is no race, just community and ritual and love eternal. There is no money, there are no bills, just mountain peaks where creator speaks. Food for everyone, clothes for everyone, ceremonies for the sun. Watch our kids run as they laugh and play, and give thanks and praises for the night and for the day. This is where I stay. Truth rules my world, there are no lies, no tattooed teared eyes or premature goodbyes. Families stay together, exchange precious feathers, no jealousy, no envy, everyone's friendly, a true family, loving one another. My sister, my brother, my father, my mother, comfort each other as times get harder. The warmth of the fire, I write to inspire.
With the spirit, keep it real, got no choice but to do it. Love to learn and teach whatever's wisdom I consume it. If hip-hop is a tool, I'ma use it to fix situations in this nation. It's not done for chips, it's for the kids and lack of consciousness and the population. It's enough motivation, elevations achieved through self-education. This same path will lead you out of frustration.
As I follow the red road, it takes me back several millenniums, reconnecting with my origins as all the elements are returned back to their bare essence. Molecules are reunited as the sacred fire is ignited, and with the sacred smoke I invoke the ancient ones that spoke about harmony and unity between nature and humanity. Fundamental elements created to live as one. I praise the sun, understand my connection with every creation, from Aslan all the way to Teotihuacan. By the sacred hearth, my blood is from the earth, from death to birth. I come from a spiritual lineage, a sacred heritage. So enter the prayer beyond the optical layer, the evil spirit slayer, for the service of God and the glory of the sun. Spiritual revolution, interrelating with the elements, understanding my coexistence and my spiritual significance, re-establishing my connection with the spirits above and around, the sky and the ground. Kukulkan emerging in Aslan.
With the spirit, keep it real, got no choice but to do it. Love to learn and teach whatever's wisdom I consume it. If hip hop is a tool, I'ma use it to fix situations in this nation. It's not done for chips, it's for the kids and lack of consciousness and the population. It's enough motivation, elevations achieved through self-education. The same path will lead you out of frustration. One direction to move with my back against the wall. Remain real with y'all, live by universal law. Almost all will fall like the Berlin Wall until the curtain call. I'ma give it my all, plus infinite percent. Pockets are filled with lamp from paying bills and rent. Still the day to me is heaven sent. It's evident I represent spirit, not presidential paper. I want visions to create a greater state of mind. So I take the time seeking secrets lost. Then I make the rhyme, serve it sweet and hot. Got to feed the flock to keep them deep in thought. With the spirit, keep it real, got no choice but to do it. Love to learn and teach whatever's wisdom I consume it. If hip hop is a tool, I'ma use it to fix situations in this nation. It's not done for chips, it's for the kids and lack of consciousness and the population. It's enough motivation, elevations achieved through self-education. The same path will lead you out of frustration.
Yo, those are a couple classic joints from the Jaguar Prophecies project.
Yo, that was, you know, when I rehear that album, I realized how good Eric and Victor are as lyricists. That was lucky for me to work with people like that, because I mean, I hear those songs now and they still affect me. So if they still affect me, I know they're touching other people in a good way. And that's what we all wanted to do as Elvu, you know. But I was lucky to work with some really, really, really talented lyricists.
And that was like a crazy hardcore competitive scene in the LA underground hip hop community, bro. There was so many dope MCs coming up at that time.
I think during that time, Project Blow was like full on. Like there was so many MCs.
They were on the top of their game.
Yeah, there was like just so many MCs in Los Angeles.
Tumex, Cholo Cinco, right? Like
Olmeca,
Shapeshifters.
I mean, there were some really cool bands like Burning Star, Blues Experiment, Quinto Sol. All these. During that time, we had this like really cool. We had a cool scene. We made it cool to look for your culture, you know, to find your culture. That's the coolest thing you could do, is find out who you are. And there were bands like Aslan Underground that helped do that, and inspired by like early late 80s bands like or groups like Public Enemy, Keras One, you know, those African identity bands. They kind of inspired us to do the same for our culture, you know, and kind of write music in that way that would inspire our culture. And that record, I released it in 2002. I think now
that was a year where a lot of dudes were coming out.
Yeah. I felt like, you know, if you were going to make a record, it had to be at least as good as the people that were coming out on the radio. It may not have sounded, because they always say I had the best equipment, but you could put your artistic stamp on things. And I felt like we did that with that album, because it was almost like where...
yeah, back in 2002, it wasn't like people had, you know, laptops making records, right? Like,
no, you
had to have hard drives.
Yeah, you had to have a computer. You had to have a little bit more intricate setup for it to come out decent. That gave us, you know, owning the studios that I put up gave me the autonomy to put out those records. I mean, I put out Victories, Black and Red Ink. I put out the Jaguar Prophecies. Then we put out Knowledge and Wisdom. Then we put out Evolution. Then we put out the 4-song EP with Rocco, the Ciudad Celestial single, or EP. And then I think that was all. I still think I have 1 or 2 songs that I have not, you know, that they rapped on, but I never kind of worked with.
when you're talking about music and pushing records and how people in 2025 have to consume music nowadays, like it's strange how like everyone's battling, everyone's fighting for crumbs. All these fucking rappers and artists are complaining that they're not getting paid on Spotify and on YouTube fairly, you know.
Because they have the old model of music. Like they have that model where you get signed by a record label. I mean, you get signed by a record label, and now you're a multimillionaire or you're a millionaire, and your life is like everybody just puts roses at your feet. Nowadays, though,
Well, okay. So look, they just announced a couple weeks ago that the Spotify CEO, dog, talking about artists not getting paid fairly. He is now his net worth is $7.2 billion. Wow. More than 4 richest musicians combined. And honestly, richer than all the top 20 hip hop artists combined.
right?
Dog. So this guy's worth $7.2 billion.
Because
Yet artists can't get paid their fair share.
Yeah, because you're going to. It's kind of like expecting Instagram to pay you because you have a lot of followers.
You were talking about this. It's their platform. They do what they want, bro.
Yeah, it's once
If they want to make billions, fuck it.
and they want to pay you, 0.000001 of a cent per stream.
They can.
They can.
Because you want to get on their platform so badly.
I think one of the
But isn't that kind of disgusting, bro? Like
I think it's predatory.
$7 billion?
I think it's predatory for artists because artists feel like they need to be on that platform. And in the most right, you do. You kind of do, but I just don't feel like people with substance, people that put out real art, like truth, like they don't worry about Spotify streams. People who put out real art. I mean, for example, Mos Def, and then his new projects, Yassine Bey or whatever.
He could care less about social media.
Yeah, he cares less how many he streamed, but he's badass.
Yep.
And when he puts out a record, it's fucking art. I think that's where the younger generation is gonna struggle. I'll give you an example. Like in my hard drive, I have 25 years of documented work. Tours to Mexico, tours to Nevada, tours to New Mexico, tours to I already have so much content. I already created 5 albums that people could still listen to today. I have content for days. I could release 3 videos a day. So what I'm trying to point out is that although the streaming platform has hijacked music, but it got hijacked way before that, when Napster, because people were trading music and not even getting credit for it. You know what I mean? Like, let's say, for instance, it put out a record during the Napster time and it got shared, I don't know, 20 million times. You wouldn't get credit or paid for that. So the record labels had to do something, and they came up with streaming. And that's the answer for the answer for file sharing. When music went onto an MP3, now that it was in this file, you can share it through email with other people, and they can put it in a folder, and they can collect songs for free.
They let it go for a good decade, but hey, they stomped it out real quick after 10 years after they figured it out, right?
Well, that's when it became like a
Spotify.
subscription.
That's when Spotify came out, and everyone was warning the artists, hey, look, these days are over. No one believed it, right? Because no one thought, they would be able to control and censor the internet like that. But do you remember how when we would download shit or trade shit, there would be a big FBI logo on your fucking computer screen? That shit would just...
Yeah, I do remember
It would definitely not motivate you to do it again.
No, but it didn't slow it down. People still shared files. I think kids found it
It was a good scare tactic.
It was like, yeah, of course.
A big ass fucking FBI logo just because you downloaded a Cypress Hill song. You know?
But file sharing is different from file stealing and then selling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like these kids were taking that folder, creating their own artwork and their own CD and pushing it in Target or any of those record stores. You know what I mean? They were just sharing files. And they had to come up with an answer for people being able to, you know, I don't know, Eminem's new record coming out. It's like already everybody heard it already. And he hadn't even released it, put the marketing campaign together.
Yeah, that's kind of, that will get you pissed off, you know?
Yeah, but
if you're popular, doesn't matter.
But the artist started realizing, oh shit, it's making me more popular. To give away my music is making me more popular. Because all I have to do is write good music. And then people will want it and they'll share it. And then when I go out to their city, I'm going to charge for the concert. I'm going to charge for the shirt. I'm going to charge for... So
look, like the other day on Underground Hip Hop Blog, we posted, y'all mad because Spotify making billions from artists. Then what's the solution then? You know, like what's the solution to that?
Okay.
If you're complaining so much.
This is where Dame Dash comes into play. Dame Dash points out that
before you go, we had 10 comments and we noticed we had over 500 comments on this post, but we noticed like there was a few comments that were all relatable, that were all tied in together. They were saying that the biggest artists would have to pull their catalogs off that platform. That will never happen, huh, Zero?
No, because I just explained that when Napster was coming out and file sharing was happening, they were getting popular from it. So it's not like Spotify is not making them popular. It's like Apple Music. You know, being on the Apple Music front page. I remember when Fora was playing at my studio and he was all happy because he got the front page of Apple Music. You know, one of his singles was on the front page of Apple Music or one of his projects, right? So they're just, it's kind of like, how can I say this? Like, you know, when radio overplays your song, they're using you to get their listeners to listen to the ads that they're selling.
So you're saying these big artists that are conglomerates, Jay-Z, Eminem's, when they put it on Spotify, they're practically giving away their music.
Yeah.
But they're becoming so popular.
Yes.
Because of the fucking streams.
Right.
And they could track it.
Right.
So like you said, when Eminem goes to fucking Australia, he's selling 25,000 tickets.
Guaranteed. Well, because they could read the metrics.
And Spotify is tied in right into that.
I'm sure that Spotify provides those type of artist metrics, right? Like, you know, when they go, oh shit, France, you know, downloaded it 400,000 times.
So you think these big conglomerate artists and rappers could give a shit about the underground rappers? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But
they're not going to get together and say, hey guys, we're going to strike. Jay-Z, Eminem, Dr. Dre, everyone, you know, let's just pull our fucking catalogs off of Spotify. Let's just go to Bandcamp. That's not going to happen, bro.
No. But like Dame Dash pointed out in one of these posts on social media, where he says, we're in the era of direct-to-consumer marketing. In other words, I mean, let's take LA Natives, for instance. We do our podcast on Wednesdays. By like either tomorrow or the next day, we'll have 300 views of it.
Yep.
Because we have a consistent audience. In the underground, when you're dealing with direct-to-consumer marketing or outreach, then if your audience cares about your music and cares about what you're doing, then they'll buy your shirt. They'll go to the show, excuse me. They'll go to Bandcamp and download your record just because they love what you do. I have those type of fans. Like, I didn't sell a lot of stuff on Bandcamp, but I had people download the songs from Bandcamp, like a full album. They download it. Like, who downloads albums now? Who even buys CDs now? You just go to Spotify. You get your fucking subscription and you have access to all the catalog, or you do the subscription to Apple Music and you have access to everyone's catalog. Because no one really not puts it out except me. I haven't put my mixtape on it. I haven't put most of Zero's music is not on any Spotify platform, and that kind of works to my advantage. That's the answer to the underground, is to create profound art where people are just looking for you. You're like, usually it's kind of when it's too easy to find you, you don't get the streams you need. But when it's hard to find you, it's almost like you become a collectible record. Like, do you know of this artist? No, I don't. Oh, wow, man, you're missing out. This guy's dope. You know, that's the kind of crowd that I think we're cultivating with our projects. And that's the answer to Spotify.
And I think it's being highlighted because, like, this Luigi guy just fucking deaded a fucking CEO of the largest insurance company in the world, medical insurance company. And, you know, artists are pissed off at this dude. To be worth $7 billion and he doesn't even make a song. He's richer than all the artists combined. That's crazy. All he did is create an app called Spotify.
Right. And he's not a musician, and he probably doesn't love, you know what I mean? He's not.
He must be rolling around with some deep security, bro. Because guys like that, dude, like,
it was bound to happen though, but it started out with file
and this
sharing.
is the era that 2025, dude, it's a new year. Like, he's in the headlines because he's worth billions. Why is he in the headlines in 2025? I don't know. But they're making it clear that Spotify is dominating the world, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, what is the
outside of YouTube? Because I would think YouTube is for the videos and then Spotify is for the streams. And what essentially is Spotify? Membership. People pay $15 a month to listen to whatever the fuck they want.
Well, to listen to the catalog that's registered with, and that's when you go into like DistroKid and CD Baby. Those are the independent distributors that put you on these platforms. But
and yes, when we're living in such a controlled environment where we go to our cell phone shops, we get the iPhone or we get the Android.
Right.
And at this point, the only way to even listen to music is this fucking app called Spotify, right? Like, it's that big.
Like,
it's that
if you
big,
want,
guys. Like, it's part of society right now.
And it's crazy because they'll give you Spotify for free, correct? But you can't listen to things freely.
Yeah, you're right. Or
you can't listen to a whole album.
No.
I don't even think you can listen to the song that you want to pick. Like, it has
they'll
to
probably let you listen one or two, and then they'll scramble it.
Yeah. That
with ads and shit. What they want you to do is pay $15 a month for no ads. You can fucking create your library, your playlist. You know, you can play whatever the fuck you want at all times, and with zero ads.
It's $15.
Yeah, I think it's $15 right now.
Holy fuck! It used to be 10. Now it's 15. And think about it. This guy's a billionaire, and he doesn't press a shirt. He doesn't like. I'm sure he has buildings that have servers that deal with the traffic that's Spotify.
Guys, he's richer than Taylor Swift, the Beatles, Kendrick Lamar combined.
Wow, that's crazy, and not even a record label. He's not even signing people. He's just allowing He's allowing them to be on the platform. That's all.
And you know what? I've seen his scumbag interviews, and I think I saw one where he says, I solved a problem and I created a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
That's how you become a billionaire. I'm like, what the fuck?
He solved the
maybe.
problem. He solved the problem of people stealing records and sharing them without having to go through a barcode or tracking, or, you know what I mean? Like,
he was probably the one behind Napster the whole fucking time, you know? Guys like that, tech guys like that. Because ultimately, they're just fucking software engineers, right?
Yeah, programmers. That's what Will.i.am started talking about one time. He was talking about how, like, in the future, it wasn't going to be rock stars anymore. It was going to be people who made apps. People who made apps like, what do they call it? Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. Those guys are going to be the new rock stars.
Like Elon Musk.
Yeah,
He's
because
the fucking new. He's up there with Trump, you know.
rock stars. I mean, back in the day, it's like almost antiquated thought, like where even if you were the dopest of the dopest, like Bob Marley, he used to draw like 80,000 people to a concert. Maybe he sold 1 million records, but nowadays you're hitting like 30 million views. You're getting, 500 and, you're getting, close to 2 million downloads. Now, downloads are different than records because they don't require you to press anything. It's just a computer giving you numbers and zeros, right? It's not a product that you're picking up and putting on your shelf. It's something you're storing in your hard drive. So it's just information that you're paying for. So all that stuff, they had to figure out an answer for it because it was no longer becoming a cassette tape, a CD, a record. It was becoming these files that could be shared easily. And so the answer to Spotify is to create art that people seek out. And that's what you want on the underground side of things.
Yeah. I just thought it was disturbing how so many people are thinking the same way when it comes to, maybe the big artists should boycott it. They'll never fucking boycott it. But that's that way of thinking. It's just like, guys, they're lost in the sauce. They're part of the fucking elite.
Yeah, know? They probably get paid by probably get paid by Spotify to be on the on the app, not the other way around where you're a starving artist. You're like, I got.
Yeah, they don't want Taylor Swift to pull their whole fucking catalog off of Spotify.
No, so they probably go, hey, we're gonna kick you down. Whatever the deal is. A flat rate. He can afford it. He has $7 billion for an app. All he has to do is make sure that app does not crash.
Yeah, I know.
That's all he has to do. It's all these Mark Zuckerbergs. You know what I mean? Like it's Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all these techies. We've crossed over from the Industrial Revolution into the tech revolution, where the inventions are not going to be mechanical machines. They're going to be robotics, apps, softwares, things of that nature are going to be more important than someone inventing a better, efficient gas engine.
Well, all this shit has to be stored somewhere, right? Like, there's probably, places where they have thousands of hard drives that are constantly working.
Servers,
and just that we're going to be living in a server universe, dude.
Well, I mean, when I went to go tour in, I think it was Humboldt County, we drove through these places up north, and there was these big warehouses. They're just like dull, plain warehouses. I forgot who we asked. And we're like, what are those things? What are those? They just look out of nowhere. They would just see these warehouses. Oh, those are, what they call it, server farms. So they build this particular building, and they make sure it has to be cool because the servers get hot. That's when they crash, when they get overheated.
So they're constantly running air conditioning and fucking.
Right. So they're running either the air conditioning or I heard too that they build them in like snow climate areas, like places that are like snowing all the time. They'll build a facility there and they don't have to pay for air conditioning. The servers stay cool because the heat they emit, it never overpowers the coldness of the mountain or wherever, like in the Alps or something like that. Somewhere where there's a lot of snow all the time. They buy these, or they build these server farms, and that's how they keep things cool. That's another issue, is that we're going to run into an energy thing using all of this technology, where in the Industrial Revolution, we were dependent on oil. And we still are. That oil, it's taking a back seat, but tech, how could I say, tech players or like the Bill Gates, you know what I mean? Like before it was the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, Rockefeller, DuPont, those are oil oligarchs, right? Now we're in the tech oligarch age, which is the Gates, the Jobs, the Musks. It's starting like Elon Musk isn't even.
But if I'm not mistaken, like it's a fast, rapid evolution when it comes to tech, right? From the history, let's go back thousands of years. It's just recently that this shit's been going down, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like I don't know, I don't remember apps existing fucking thousands of years ago, dude. You know what I'm saying? Or even phones or.
Well, I mean, I was watching earlier today.
You really think about that, bro. It's
Earlier today, I was watching The Real World. Remember The Real World? There was a show called The Real World on MTV. I found the MTV app and I just started, you know, browsing it. And in those episodes, they only had landlines. So everybody would be complaining about someone being on the phone. Like, and I would be like, in my mind, it was kind of having a hard time following the show because I was going, well, why don't someone pull out their cell phone? But in that era, there were no cell phones. And it's crazy to see shows in the era where there's no cell phone.
It's crazy.
Because the communication becomes different, right? Like you actually have to go to somebody's house, knock on a door, pick up a landline, push into the buttons, make sure that they're there or they're at their home because they're not going to have a landline while they're walking around. That's what I noticed in that show was that the communication was a whole lot different, right? Where this is a part of the tech revolution. The tech revolution allowed us to communicate with someone instantly. Like if you're not coming and I'm here and we were in the era of landlines, I could be waiting out there for hours. You may never come. And I couldn't know. I would have to go try to find a payphone, call you, hope you're home to get an answer. But now with the tech revolution, they created devices where we can talk to each other instantly.
Instantly, bro.
Instantly. It's weird because today for the show, I forgot my phone at where I'm at. And I immediately started thinking, whoa, man, should I go back? Do I need to go back? Like, fuck. But I started getting a little anxiety over it. And I started recognizing it and I calmed myself down and I went, wait, I'm only going to be away from it for max 2 hours. You know, I'll get to it when I can. But that's the era we're in. We're in the tech revolution era. And that tech, it's just like money. It's like fiat currency versus cryptocurrency. Now, you can't forget, you could access things through your phone. So you would need your carrier wallet. You need to carry an ATM card. Or we're in those eras where they're tightening up that ability to communicate and now to pay for things. You'll need those things to move forward into this tech revolution.
No, it's coming, you know. I don't even think it's going to be 10 years. I just think within a couple of years, bro, they're going to announce something big. Hey, dude, like,
but let's be biased about
like
it.
Paper
too.
money, you can't use it anymore. Yeah, you have to turn it in. You know,
It's getting close to that. It's getting close to that. But there's a lot of resistance. That's why they didn't like this whole, because regardless of how we feel about them, the Trump people, they want to keep money alive. They want to keep fiat currency alive, like tangible. So that's a lot of people. But notice how we talked earlier, a couple episodes ago, where authoritarian governments are kind of coupled with crypto, right?
And we'll look at Bitcoin now. Is that a fucking $100,000, dude?
Yeah.
Who has the last laugh, right? Remember when it all crashed and people panicked? It's
It's gonna crash again.
yeah. But it's a long game. Like, don't treat cryptocurrency or Bitcoin like a casino. Like, if you're gonna invest, you invest. If it goes down, buy more. That's the whole strategy behind it, I would think, because, dude, I remember when I panicked, I sold all my holdings when I fucking lost like 70% of its worth. But now, I
You would have regained that
bro,
70.
not just that, bro.
I
right?
know. You would probably X'd it. What?
Yeah.
How many?
10x.
10x. There you go. But look, this new era is a tech era. We just explained how communication had its revolution, but so has the technology to track, right? And so, yeah, you could have left your Bitcoin alone, and now you would have been at probably up maybe a couple hundred racks, whatever.
At most, I probably had 10K in it. Even if I had it in there, I probably would have
Probably like 60K,
60K. That ain't
70K,
shit. Dude.
70K, right?
Yeah.
And it's not easy to eliminate tangible money, meaning fiat currencies, monies that you can hold in your hand. It's not easy to get rid of it. The only way you could get rid of it is if you give away another source of money, right? It's weird because Bitcoin isn't strong unless the dollar is strong. Because if the dollar wasn't strong, let's say, for instance, because Canada's dollar is like 60 cents to $1 of the US dollar, right? So if the dollar was like 45 cents, would Bitcoin be as strong as it is now?
All right.
That's like really where we got to look at things. You know what I mean? It's still kind of it's the left hand to the right hand, right? The fiat currency is on one hand and then the digital coin is on the other side. But I think in the long play, in the long term, cryptocurrency has to win. So that's why they're going to give away a lot of it. In other words, they're going to give the illusion of wealth, right? Like XRP is going to be worth $10. It's kind of close to what Bitcoin was. You're going to catch a cryptocurrency at its time, some people think that it's going to be another Bitcoin, that one day it's going to be worth 100K.
Yeah.
But it's
XRP. It's Bitcoin is.
It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana.
Yeah, Solana.
And then you got the smaller ones after that, like whatever, it's the XRPs, which are $2 and, but they're getting pretty big gains. Because if you would have bought XRP at $1, so if you would have put $1,000 down and you would have rode the XRP wave, you would have 1x'd your 1,000, so you would have made 2,000.
Yeah, but XRP is, from what I heard just recently and what I read, they're taking it a step further. They're essentially they help people move money from one place to another through the blockchain, right? But they've been able to figure out to do it. They do it so fast that a transaction clears and gets verified within seconds compared to days.
Using AI.
Yeah,
probably.
using AI. So the cost of that is pennies compared to dollars that these companies charge you, like Western Unions and shit, where, why pay $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 to send money across the world when through XRP, it'll cost you cents.
Well, that's more for like debit cards, right? Because banks use Visa or MasterCard. And then when you use your debit card, you're getting charged a certain percentage per purchase, right?
Yep.
So with XRP, you bypass that.
bypass that
right?
whole thing.
They're doing the whole, and it's really the technology that Cash App used to have, right? Like Cash App, remember they killed that dude from Cash
Yep.
App because he had that technology where he can transfer money so quickly. He
At
kind
a
of
fraction of a dollar, a fraction of a cent.
right,
They said it's not even pennies; it's fractions of a penny.
right. So it's the new
So for a
Visa.
consumer, yeah, like it's why not just do that?
right,
Yeah.
right. But see how the point is that crypto can be controlled, turned off, and erased. You could do that right now. The government doesn't have to control that because if you lose your codes, you're done. Your crypto's just in the ether.
Yep.
There's no, if you forget your code or lose that little USB, whatever the fuck it is, what they call a ledger.
Yep.
If you lose that ledger, if your shit's on that ledger and you lose that ledger, it's done. It's gone. It's caught in the ether. So in a way, we're all getting pushed into the new tech revolution where money's controlled, communications controlled, purchases are controlled. Like we're even getting to a point where Uber drivers are going to start being laid off, right? Because now, have you seen in the city like the self-driving cars?
The Waymos are everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, they're just everywhere now. I see them like at least. Well, they're in the rich areas for sure. They're not in the. They're not in East LA just yet, but I seen one or two. But this is the era we're moving into. We're moving into the tech revolution, right? They feel like they have the answer for everything, that they know everything. And the truth is, their technology isn't that strong. Really, it isn't. A lot of people be like, what are you talking about? AI is, revolutionary, it's advanced, this and that. But you still have to correct a lot of shit that runs through AI.
Yep.
I mean, AI doesn't make perfect things. AI can only create what information you feed it. And the mind of a human is infinitely creating. It's creating with its imagination. It's creating with its hands, like sculpting things, painting things, cleaning things, making things. AI can never replicate our creativity. Our creativity comes from the Creator. The Creator created us to be infinitely creative. AI can never replicate that. So as we move forward into
I saw this crazy movie recently about, there's these conventions where you can buy these robots that are like your maid, and you customize how they look. And I guess some dude picked up like a hot looking female chick.
but she's a robot.
She's a robot.
Okay.
Ended up, cleaning the house, and then the robot falling in love with this dude, and then just constantly trying to have sex with the dude, ruining the family's marriage, terrifying the kids. Like, they couldn't control the robot.
Whoa.
It's crazy.
Wait, the robot had feelings
Yeah, dude. Like,
and it had normal body parts that
yeah,
it could
just wanted to, bone its owner.
What's the name of that
Like,
movie?
dude, I forgot the title.
Is it on?
It just came out. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
It's on Netflix. Okay, I got it. I want to check that out.
It's like, it's to that point, bro. Like, have you seen these Tesla robots that are like
Yeah.
bartenders and shit?
Yeah, like the ones they're like, what movie was that? That Will Smith movie. They kind of look like those robots,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
We're getting to that era. Well,
Every time I go to
Amazon-
Hollywood,
Amazon-
every time I go to Hollywood, there's always these little things delivering food. Like,
oh yeah, those little boxes.
Man.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. 2025 is going to be the acceleration. You're seeing, you're saying.
It's going to be a super acceleration.
Yeah,
all the bullshit that's going down.
It's going to be the acceleration of driverless cars, little box deliveries. You know, I was talking to another business owner, and he was telling me that people who order through Uber Eats or Grubhub have accepted that their food isn't going to be like if you bought it there. You know what I mean? It's going to be soggy fries. It's going to be a soggy sandwich. It's not going to be the perfect food like you freshly made.
Yeah, dude, if this little robot is traveling 10 blocks to deliver your food, I've seen how fast these things go. They're not going fast.
No, they're not. So the quality of food is going down. Like that's the era we're in. Like music with Spotify has brought down the quality of music. Right? Before, you used to have to actually write good lyrics to be known as a good MC. Now you just got to have the numbers on Spotify. If you have the numbers on Spotify, then people start giving you sponsorship, ads, whatever. This is the era we're in, like the tech revolution, you know, the tech future, where the tech oligarchs will, you know, determine policy. The persons that are close to the elected president, the newly elected president, Donald Trump, is who? Who's been the closest to him?
Just dude, Elon Musk.
Right? Tech guy. And the fucking Amazon dude, Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
Now he's kind of fucking becoming buddies with him. Right? Because they're gonna determine policy that favors tech companies. Everybody, you know, the whole electric car movement is to kind of control how far we can go. You know, they don't want you to go far and camp for months at a time or even leave the city for a long time, because they want those smart cities, right? Those smart cities where they tell you where time begins and time ends. You see, the Roman programming that we've been getting for generations, it's just not just us. Your parents got it, their parents got it, their parents got it. See, New Year's being in January is a big deal. We gotta understand. My homie, I hope were you able to find his post? My homie,
It's right here, right?
Mike Bravo, yeah. Mike Bravo broke it down. Shout out to Mike Bravo. Everybody who is on LA Natives and who listens to LA Natives, they should go follow him. He has a great podcast and he's very knowledgeable. I've known this brother for a while. But he put up a post about the Gregorian calendar that was so right on, I had to share it with the community. So shout out to Mike Bravo. Shout out to, I think his name is Kemichi.
Disconnection, individualism, negligence, slavery.
So let's see if we could get it from the beginning, because he just hits it on the fucking right on the dot.
The Gregorian Western calendars promote disconnection, individualism, negligence, slavery, imbalance, and bad relationships with everything, including ourselves. And that's what you call the linear way. The Gregorian calendar may dominate the material social world that we live in, but by realigning our spirit with the calendars of our ancestors, we can reclaim our balance, our power, and well-being with the earth and all relations. Let's disconnect our minds from the Gregorian calendar and instead align our heart and spirit with the calendar of our ancestors. The Gregorian Western calendars promote disconnection, individualism,
that was it.
Negligence, slavery, imbalance.
So, super important post, because we as a community just kind of follow along with Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Those are our holidays. Those are our times of rest. Those are our points of time. We revolve around these months. This year was the first year I disconnected from everything. I disconnected from Thanksgiving, Christmas, and this New Year, false New Year. And I did exactly what Mike was saying. I disconnected myself from that. because that is the root of that is the root of individualism. Because the Romans that created that calendar based it off of their birthday. You see, no one can plant a seed in the middle of winter. No one should plant a seed on the hard surface of a snowy earth. Our calendars are connected to the rhythms of nature, which we as humans are connected to. Mother Nature. We need to follow our mother. And to follow our mother is to understand her movements. And January 1st is not the new year. It's just not. I think that October is 8, right? Yeah, it's the 10th month.
Yep.
I think in Greek it's like you say 8 by using October or something like that. It's related to the word 8 in Greek. And then, remember that rich elites will always lie to you. And that custom of April Fools is that they convinced poor people that the new year began in the middle of winter. How does that? Especially when you come from a pre-colonial understanding, like Egyptian, Mayan, Aztec, Mexica, ancient cultures. Ancient cultures revolved around the seasons. That the seasons are the ones that tell us when the year changes. Not a man, not someone who just says, today is January 1st and today is the first day of the year.
Hey, well, look, like the homie Art says, but for as long as they celebrate New Year and holidays the way they want them to, it just reassures themselves that they have complete control.
Well said. Well said.
Like it's not a conspiracy that in Christmas now around this time of year everyone's buying bullshit.
Right. And worried about it.
Yeah.
Stressed about it.
You're gonna lose your whole family if you don't buy these gifts and go fucking in debt.
Or your kids are gonna not like you because you couldn't buy them the PlayStation 5 or all these other unnecessary distractions to the truth. The truth is that spring starts in March. So I have a very different relationship with, and this year I felt the cleanest artistically. I felt the cleanest in my indigeneity because I didn't celebrate these things. I wanted nothing to do with it. I went far away from it. Like people are having dinner at their house and I was at the beach. People are at Christmas and I'm meditating.
Dude, these holidays create, thousands or millions of families to be like, all right, look, Thanksgiving is the only time I'm going to go over to my brother's house or to my mom's house. Christmas and shit, like, that's a disgusting way of life, bro. Right?
Yeah, because we should be more connected to our families. But Mike said it the best.
Best believe in back in the heyday, bro, like our ancestors, it was always family units, right?
Yeah. It was a different time. It was different timekeeping. We didn't keep time like the way we keep time, like the brother just pointed out. Like they have full control. We think that them walking around with guns and, all that's control. No, we control our own selves. We are the ones that are participating in these false narratives that are far from truth. The truth is nature rules everything. And if we're not following the rhythms of nature, then how can we follow the rhythms of our own life? January 1st is not the first day of the year. And if you believe that, you have a lot of work to do. I'm sorry, you do. And I don't mean that to put you down. I'm doing it to wake you up. Once you do follow the rhythms of nature, it's life-changing. And what I do is I fast from solid foods every year before the first day of the new year. This is how I'm connected to time. By fasting in this way, I reflect on time, true time, not time imposed by greedy, egotistical men. I can never follow that rhythm. I can foolishly follow it. I can ignorantly follow it because I don't have the information to change it. But once I have the information to change it, then the system ends. And this is the way I ended the system, by fasting for 5 days prior to the new year. And I prepared myself for it. I trained myself for it. I started the first year by just not eating 2 days, but really quickly found out that I always had the power. And so I started my 5-day fast every year from solid food. And I treat myself well. I drink teas that heal my body. I reflect on what I lived on in the year, and I let it go. There are no New Year's resolutions. How much power are you going to have with a New Year's resolution knowing that you're planting your seed in the middle of the coldest time of the year? They want you to plant your dreams. They want you to plant your future.
That you will never fucking do.
Right. It's so easy. It falls in line. So then you stay depressed the whole year because you couldn't complete or come into alignment with what you promised yourself. But how can you do that if you're planting a seed in the middle of the time where the earth doesn't give life? The earth doesn't give life during that time. Maybe in certain areas, but we know what we're talking about. Metaphorically, as a person, even though I live in California, I know there's a winter time. I don't shift my mind from it not being winter. I feel the cold air. I accept the cold wind. I understand that it's here, but it'll pass as well. And I'll move into a new year where new flowers grow, where new animals are born, where new vegetation is born. And I know that because I fast for 5 days prior to this next year. This is how I tie myself to time. It's a practice. It's an ancient indigenous practice. It's important to completely understand what my buddy Mike Bravo explained, that the Gregorian calendar teaches you how to be destructive to your own self because you plant your future in the middle of winter. It's crazy.
That's crazy, yo. But yeah, like it does give me a false sense of hope, trying to like have New Year's resolutions. Oh, I want to make, double the money I'm making now, or I want to have this certain car by the end of the fucking year. Like, sometimes it makes you fucking just say shit that you fantasize about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Because it's winter. It's winter time. It's time of infinite just kind of creating things in your mind.
Yeah. If you want to get it, you have to get it. Doesn't matter what month or day it is, dude.
But what we're trying to point out, what Mike Bravo was trying to point out, what I'm trying to explain is that what would you do if you saw me, Armando,
Well, he is telling, the people, hey, follow the directions of your ancestors.
right?
But what if fools are like, yo, I don't know what the fuck my ancestors were doing?
Well, that's you're right. Now, you're right. We are at that stage where you have to do research, but it's not like you can't go find those answers.
Right.
It's not like you can't go inspire yourself. But if you just kind of go,
He's not just being a fucking dickhead that just wants to avoid all the holidays and
no,
be the Grinch of fucking all the parties and shit.
no, not well. I mean,
or the Grinch.
It'll be up to you if you want to participate in those celebrations, because I think that has a lot to do with it. You can't
And don't get me wrong, just a general person, if they find out that you're not into Christmas and any holidays, they'll fucking probably think you're crazy.
Yeah. That's
fucking
how far,
insane.
That's how far it's gone. But if they hear me articulate why, it's not that I'm against these holidays. I'm not against them. Everybody can. If you find joy in these stories, if you find joy in these gatherings,
if you want to wear those ugly sweaters
Hey.
with Santa Claus on it, go ahead, dude.
I mean, by all means, you have every right to know what you like. But I like to be connected to nature. Like if you see me out in the yard, you will know it's spring because I'm putting things in the ground. But wouldn't it be unusual if I was like in the middle of, like, say for instance, rainy season or snow season, and I'm trying to plow the dirt, but the dirt is mud? How straight are my rows going to be? How effective is my seed going to get drowned in there? Is it, there's just too much water in there? Like, this is why our ancestors, they just didn't wildly pick when to plant things. They looked around and they said, wow, I see all these little flowers coming out. It must be time to plant things. I see all these little baby animals coming out. It must be time to grow things. We need to follow the direction of our Mother Earth. That's far more powerful than any tech revolution that they can come up with. They can do their best to distract us from it, and they do a good job.
What does Santa Claus represent, bro? The mainstream, like, why are there, like, have you ever took your kids to go see Santa Claus at the mall and shit with the picture and all that?
Like when I was super young, like when I first had my kids, like
what is that teaching that kid in his head the whole fucking time he's there? My parents have to get me shit.
Well, we're trying to think about that too. As a parent, you're lying to your children that this individual who wears this suit comes and brings them what they want, right? It's kind of it's not based on
fucking
truth.
twisted, yeah.
It's not based on truth at all. Like, why would you
that's
lie
just
to your
fucking twisted,
kid?
yeah.
Like, I remember being a little kid and
Hey, I'm the one fucking getting you those gifts, right? Like,
well, that's what I told my son this year. I go,
you have to earn it too,
my son's still 9 years old, like my baby, and he's 9 years old, and I tell him, look, I'm getting you these things not because it's Christmas, but because I know that people are used to getting things, and so I just want to be clear with you, and I want to make sure that you don't believe that there's a person that comes and brings you things in the middle of the night. I would never lie to you that way. I buy you these things because I love you, and if it makes you smile, then that's why I buy them. But other than that, that's it.
yeah, there's a whole fucking industry revolved around that garbage.
Right, like it's falsifying these.
Like, dude, at the Nightmare Before Christmas, had to get Product a Santa outfit just to fit in, right?
And the reason I play that show is because of the name. It's like an anti-Christmas thing. Conejo went, violent with it, but hey, you kind of are relevant in a way. And so, shout out to Conejo for letting me play that show on December 21st. It's a pretty special show because...
And in art right here, it says, and our kids will now grow up thinking that older white people are nice giving shit to other people.
Yeah, it's like almost like we're becoming a person that's promoting this propaganda, which isn't even real. It's not true. It has nothing to do
The
with
whitest of the white guy, right? The old
Nature,
white guy
yeah.
with the white beard.
Yeah. I went and saw this movie with my son. It was a Christmas movie. I think it's called Red One. It was about like Santa being like a super, like almost like a special agent, and The Rock was his protector. And yeah, dude, he had a brother, right? Santa had a brother in this movie who was half beast, half man.
Damn,
And he had
bro.
horns. It's crazy. I was like, what the fuck is this thing? You know what? These are like really satanic imagery. It's crazy. Like I know a little bit about Santa. I don't remember the details of it. That's why I won't talk about it.
But that's exactly what Bravo was trying to say. Like, yo, you need to disconnect from all that. You know?
Yes, and it takes time, and it is a process. But I think if you kind of reorganize yourself by not following these points of time, because it's like someone telling you that nighttime is day and daytime is night, right? And you believe it, and you go, oh yeah, that's right, we're in daytime and it's dark. And then someone else is going, oh, we're in nighttime and it's light. They're confusing you in points of time so that you don't know what is what. But when you put yourself and plant yourself into rhythms of time, which is Mother Earth's seasons changing, then you add that energy with it. Your life energy gets pushed by the seasons. But if you're like getting drunk in the middle of winter and claiming that you're in the new year now and you're swimming in the new year and it hasn't even started, you know, you're celebrating the birth of Christ by telling your children a lie about an individual who wears a red suit and has this mythical brother who's half beast and has horns. Like, where are we at? We don't question anything at all? I couldn't do that at a young age. I mean, I didn't disconnect until completely 100%.
Was that character Krampus?
Krampus, yes. Krampus, he's like half beast and half...
Fucking evil version of Santa Claus?
Yeah, it's his brother. It's his brother.
Wow.
That's Santa Claus's brother, I think. Krampus. Wow. And we kind of blindly just, well, it's Christmas time, so fuck it. I'll let it slide this year. But I don't know, man. Like, I can't keep living that lie. I know that one thing happened recently, and I'm going through a lot of challenges in my life. But that's okay, because that's what your life is for. Your life is for infinite challenges. Just when you think you've reached a milestone, a challenge arises. And you'll have to live up to that challenge. And if you're connected to the rhythms of nature, instead of these fake holidays that were made up in the 1800s and still have steam in the 1900s to the 2000s, and we're talking like maybe 6, 7, 8 generations deep, where we're just kind of blindly going through the motions of life, counting down your Christmas photos. I want to be deeper than that. I want to put my hands in the earth and know that that earth is communicating with me, because I know the shifts of time. She shows me when she shifts time. In the spring, the flowers come. In the summer, the fruits come. In the fall, the fruit falls. And in the winter, nothing grows. This is how time moves. Not, it's November already. Fuck, let's start waking up and have a nice dinner. And then, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, you're like having another nice dinner. Now get back to work. File your taxes. Pay your taxes. And don't think about anything until November. Don't think about springtime. Don't think about summertime. We need to be way more connected. And when we do, we'll start to see a difference in this planet. It's our job as indigenous people to go back to those ways. We have to. It's mandatory. We can't blindly just do one more year. As hard as it was for me, I felt really good. It's a transition, letting go. But I think worth it. You know, I told my children, told my family, I don't celebrate that. Don't make me celebrate that. I'm not connected to that. That gave me no wisdom. That didn't do anything for my life to celebrate those things. Understanding the shifts of time, that's what really changed my life. Learning how to fast while time shifts allowed me to use the energy that was being brought to the earth at the time, because I was empty enough to feel it in the first day of the year with the energy that comes. Because I'm an empty vessel, I'm working on myself. I dedicate those 5 days to fill myself with the spring energy, which propels me to the summer energy, which moves me to the fall energy and the winter energy. We need to walk in the rhythms of nature, just like my brother Mike Bravo said. It's not whatever. It's our true divine self. Certain flowers bloom in certain times. But if we're all just a sheep herd and we're all just celebrating these 3 days, really that's all it is, 3 days. The rest, you think about work, you think about paying your rent, you think about paying your bills, you think about paying your fees. They're just getting better at it, and they're calling it a tech revolution. But when you're in the rhythms of nature, you're infinitely creative. So it's your creativity against their technology.
Yo, it's a new year. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys spread the word. We're going to get some guests this year.
Yeah.
I'm already booking some great interviews. And yeah, it's a new year. It sucks that I'm in that mentality that sometimes it takes January 1st for me to like think of
But that's what
being
I'm
more
talking
productive.
about.
That's fucking stupid.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, but it's almost like trying to put air into a tire that has a hole because you haven't repaired the hole.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, really, really concentrate. I mean, I'm going to do my best to kind of remind people through my platforms what point of time we're in. But right now, we're in the time of reflecting. So if you do want to apply this energy to your growth, reflect and create all these thoughts and let them build up. And as they build up, wait till spring to work on them. Don't try to work on them in winter because you're going to run out of gas. It's not going to come into fruition. It's not the right time. But it is the right time to reflect, to be aware, to understand that the spring is coming. We can't be ignorant of it. It can't catch us by surprise. We need to know when it is so that we can be in the rhythms of nature. Once we're in the rhythms of nature, then we're unstoppable once again. Just like our elders prophesied. We will return. We are here. It's just up to us to really follow those ways again. When we do, we have change. We need to lay down though the tobacco though. We need to put down the prayer for our next 7 generations.
Stop going to Starbucks, guys.
What time we at?
We have like 5 minutes left.
Cool. So 2025, according to the Gregorian calendar, started a few hours ago. But like I said before, their counts are off. Their math is off. Their spirituality is off.
Basically, everything is off.
And it's being exposed. It's weird. Everything is being exposed. Like,
you're right. Like
Hollywood.
Hollywood celebrities are not celebrities anymore.
No.
Like you said, these engineers are celebrities now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These
like,
CEOs are celebrities now.
well, think about it. Like, this election went up against movie star versus influencer.
Every movie star on the fucking planet went public against Trump for nothing, bro. For
Right.
absolutely nothing.
And who's the one that
Because people don't give a fuck about them anymore.
right? They don't care what they say, but they care about what the dude. What's the name of the streamer that interviewed Trump?
Joe Rogan.
They care about what he says. I mean, Joe Rogan will tell you, fucking take this pill, and you'll see fucking men fucking line up forever. I mean, that pill will just sell out. There's no longer a movie star anymore. There's no longer a hot chick. They're like, I guess like back in the 20s and 30s, since the technology was new about movies and things of that nature, you know, there was many stars at the same time. But nowadays it's just so saturated. Like, you used to have to jump hurdles and go through certain managers and get exploited in certain ways to become a star. But I know these streamers didn't do that. The streamers just created a platform and people loved their personality and they just connected to them. And now they're what? How much is that dude Kyrie or whatever his name is, that streamer, that black dude?
Yeah, he's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, but how many followers does he have? I'm sure he's in the millions,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, in the tens of millions. Yeah.
Tens of millions, you see? Like, Jennifer Lopez doesn't have tens of millions of fans. You know what I mean? Like, name the biggest. Jay-Z doesn't have tens of millions of fans. I don't think he has tens of millions of fans. I don't think he could put up a stream and instantly have, 50,000 people or 20,000 people asking him questions, giving him money, because they give him money, right? Like, yeah. I would imagine that dude like gets gifts, the whole thing. Like, oh, well, answer my question, here's $5, or answer my question, here's $10 or whatever. Like, they're using the technology. Like, it's just different. I don't see celebrities doing that. Oh yeah, give me $10 and I'll answer your question. This is how influential. I'm only pointing out how influential these individuals are. These streamers just fucking. I'm sure Joe Rogan would cost more than $5 to answer your question.
Like, to have Elon Musk as a presidential candidate have your back, like, he has a big voice, yo. He bought fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And Twitter's still a pretty big. I don't use it, but a lot of people use it.
And like you said, like with Joe Rogan's influence, his microphone is a megaphone, bro.
Right.
Like,
yeah, Joe Rogan's one of the biggest influencers, far more powerful than
Robert De Niro.
Any movie star or anything.
Right? Robert De Niro going fucking bonkers.
Right, like talking about Well, yeah, exactly. Talking about, oh, Trump's an asshole and Trump's, yeah, fuck them and whatever's. You get an influencer. That's what they were trying to do, right? Kamala Harris, wanted. She didn't do the influencer thing. She didn't think
She didn't, yeah. She didn't think it through.
Yeah, she didn't. She wanted to have somebody take a flight and they go to her, not her go to them. She felt like, oh, these are just computer people. Like,
Such a fucking joke.
it just didn't. And you could see the transition between someone who understands. I think, Trump's campaign really understood the tech revolution, and look at who he's sitting next to, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. I'm sure Bill Gates will start to creep in there, or if not, he's done it, closed door. But they're setting themselves up for a controlled version of China's governance. Mm-hmm. And we need to be prepared. I think that's what, the platforms for TikTok are. They're tools to teach us how to censor ourselves.
Well, supposedly by next week, if it could all be a soap opera.
Yeah.
But they're saying by next week TikTok's gonna get banned if apparently they don't sell it to someone that's not part of the Chinese government, which is weird.
Right. And someone told me
How does that work, bro? Like, right? Like, why would they want to sell it to someone that's not? Like, I don't think that will ever work.
Yeah.
Why would they want to sell it out of the country of origin, right?
Well, it's just that I don't know who owns it. Someone told me that it's not even China. It's some Asian country, but it's not China. And what they're doing is they're data mining. And so data mining is where they're getting like the most pop. It's kind of like getting the metrics of people who like your music. They'll be like, oh shit, France really loves my music. Well, if you break that down into like, foods they like, cars they like, places they like, all these things, you'll have the metrics of what the whole entire country thinks.
Yep.
How they think, who they think. And that's kind of like the same thing that happened with the Facebook thing when Hillary Clinton and they blamed it. Oh, when Donald Trump won the first time, right?
Yep.
Because of, Facebook or whatever. Or the Democratic Party tried to do that, but they didn't end up winning, because Trump won the Electoral College. But as we move into this new tech era, the only thing that combats that is the rhythms of nature, in my belief. It sounds simple, but we can't determine when technology tells us how far to drive.
Yep.
Because we're in an electric car and there's no electric stations out there. Gas stations were built strategically so you can go across the country. Right? They're built in certain areas, in certain highways, so that you can go 400 miles minimum and then hit, maybe between those 400 miles, you're going to hit at least 3 to 4 gas stations on that path.
Yep.
But if you have a electric car and there are no charging stations, you're only going to go as far as you can, because the farthest you can go is like 100 miles or some shit, like 150 miles on some vehicles. I'm sure there's some that go a little more, but the point is that you're going to have to wait 45 minutes to an hour to charge your vehicle to go another 100 miles. So see how they're limiting your ability to just travel across this country. You're going to have to use their methods. And you got to make sure that your social credit score is up to par. And the way you got there was by using their apps. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Global governance has always been the goal. Mm-hmm. And they're getting close. But our awareness, our creativity, and most of all, our love for our people and our community, you'll always find resistance. We'll see you next week.